Welcome to Dark Psychology Mastery. I'm your host, and today we're going to explore a question that has haunted philosophers and psychologists for centuries. What are the darkest secrets of human psychology, and how are they used against us? To answer this question, we'll be joined by the renowned psychologist Carl Jung, who will share with us his insights on the 7 dark psychology tricks people use on you daily. But before we dive into the meat of the topic, let's ask ourselves, have you ever felt like you're being manipulated or controlled by someone, without even realizing it? Have you ever found yourself doing something you didn't want to do, simply because someone else wanted you to? If so, you're not alone. The truth is, we're all susceptible to dark psychology, and it's used against us every day, often without us even realizing it. From the advertisements we see on TV, to the social media posts we scroll through, to the conversations we have with our friends and family, dark psychology is all around us, waiting to be unleashed. But what exactly is dark psychology, and how can we protect ourselves from its manipulative tactics? To find out, let's turn to Carl Jung, who will share with us his expertise on the subject. Carl Jung was a Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst who founded the concept of analytical psychology. He's known for his theories on the collective unconscious, archetypes, and the process of individuation. But what's lesser known about Carl Jung is his work on the darker aspects of human psychology, and how they're used to manipulate and control others. So, without further ado, let's join Carl Jung as he shares with us the 7 dark psychology tricks people use on you daily, and how you can protect yourself from them. According to Carl Jung, one of the most effective dark psychology tricks people use on you daily is the art of persuasion. This involves using subtle suggestions and manipulation to influence someone's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. For example, let's say you're at a store, and you see a sign that says, "Limited time offer, buy one get one free." This is a classic example of the art of persuasion, where the store is using a subtle suggestion to influence your purchasing decision. But how does this work, exactly? Well, according to Carl Jung, when we see a limited time offer, our brain automatically goes into a state of scarcity, where we feel like we need to act quickly before the offer expires. This triggers a release of dopamine, a neurotransmitter that's associated with pleasure and reward, which in turn motivates us to make a purchase. But here's the thing, this isn't just limited to advertising. The art of persuasion is used in all sorts of situations, from sales and marketing, to politics and social media. And once you know how it works, you can start to see it everywhere. For example, have you ever noticed how politicians use persuasive language to win over voters? Or how social media influencers use subtle suggestions to promote products to their followers? This is all part of the art of persuasion, and it's a powerful tool that can be used to manipulate and control others. But how can we protect ourselves from this kind of manipulation? According to Carl Jung, the key is to develop a critical thinking mindset, where we question everything and don't take things at face value. This involves being aware of our own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and being mindful of the subtle suggestions and manipulations that are used to influence us. Another dark psychology trick people use on you daily is the use of emotional manipulation. This involves using guilt, shame, and anxiety to control someone's emotions and behaviors. For example, let's say you're in a relationship, and your partner is using guilt trips to get you to do something you don't want to do. This is a classic example of emotional manipulation, where your partner is using your emotions against you to get what they want. But how does this work, exactly? Well, according to Carl Jung, when we're in a state of emotional arousal, our brain's rational thinking centers are bypassed, and we're more likely to act impulsively. This is because our emotional brain is wired to respond to threats and rewards, rather than rational thinking. And once we're in this state, we're more susceptible to emotional manipulation, where our emotions are used against us to control our behaviors. But here's the thing, emotional manipulation isn't just limited to personal relationships. It's used in all sorts of situations, from advertising and marketing, to politics and social media. And once you know how it works, you can start to see it everywhere. For example, have you ever noticed how advertisers use emotional appeals to sell products? Or how politicians use fear and anxiety to win over voters? This is all part of emotional manipulation, and it's a powerful tool that can be used to control and manipulate others. But how can we protect ourselves from this kind of manipulation? According to Carl Jung, the key is to develop emotional intelligence, where we're aware of our own emotions and can regulate them effectively. This involves being mindful of our emotional states, and not acting impulsively when we're in a state of emotional arousal. So, how can we apply these insights to our daily lives? According to Carl Jung, the key is to develop a combination of critical thinking and emotional intelligence. This involves being aware of our own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and being mindful of the subtle suggestions and manipulations that are used to influence us. It also involves being able to regulate our emotions effectively, so we're not acting impulsively when we're in a state of emotional arousal. But how do we do this, exactly? Well, one strategy is to practice mindfulness and meditation, which can help us develop greater awareness of our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Another strategy is to engage in critical thinking exercises, such as solving puzzles or brain teasers, which can help us develop our rational thinking skills. And finally, we can practice emotional labeling, where we identify and label our emotions, rather than acting on them impulsively. By using these strategies, we can develop greater resilience to dark psychology, and protect ourselves from the manipulative tactics that are used to control and exploit us. So, the next time you're in a situation where you feel like you're being manipulated or controlled, remember to take a step back, breathe, and reflect on your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Ask yourself, what's really going on here? What are the underlying motivations and intentions of the person or situation? And what can I do to protect myself and assert my own needs and boundaries? In conclusion, the 7 dark psychology tricks people use on you daily are powerful tools that can be used to manipulate and control others. But by developing a combination of critical thinking and emotional intelligence, we can protect ourselves from these manipulative tactics, and take control of our own minds and emotions. So, if you want to learn more about dark psychology and how to defend yourself against its manipulative tactics, be sure to subscribe to our channel, Dark Psychology Mastery. We'll be posting new content every week, including videos, articles, and podcasts, all designed to help you develop greater resilience to dark psychology, and live a more authentic, empowered life. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with your friends and family, and let's work together to create a more aware, more awakened, and more compassionate world.